Welcome back, everyone, to This Week in CAA Football. I'm Bobby Broyles, along with Rob Washburn. Another exciting Saturday around the league, Rob, with a pair of thrilling finishes once again, and other teams making some big statements as we flip the calendar to October.
Yeah, let's start first with those two big top 25 matchups where James Madison and Villanova both turned in very impressive performances. The Dukes dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, rushing for 336 yards while holding Elon to just 33 yards on the ground to earn a 45-10 road victory. Meanwhile, Villanova used big plays on offense, defense, and special teams to jump out to a 30-0 first-half lead on Maine and went on to a 33-17 win that improved the Wildcats to 5-0 for the first time in a decade. Albany scored 24 unanswered points in the second half and held off a late William & Mary comeback to post a 39-31 win in their conference opener. And finally, their main night have been a wilder finish across the country than what occurred in Kingston, Rhode Island on Saturday night. Trailing 24-14 with under 2 minutes to play, Rhode Island scored 2 touchdowns in the span of 37 seconds thanks to a pair of Vito Priori TD passes and a perfectly executed onside kick to take a 3-point lead. But Stony Brook sent the Rams to their third straight heartbreaking defeat when quarterback Tykel Fields scrambled 50 yards to the end zone on 4th and 6 to give the Seawolves a 31-27 victory. There were also a pair of strong defensive efforts in non-conference action as New Hampshire pitched a shutout for 59 minutes and defeated Duquesne 23-6 for their second straight victory, while Delaware took a 4-point lead into the fourth quarter at ACC member Pitt before falling 17-14.
Only 5 games on the docket this week, with 4 of those contests being conference matchups. Headlining them all will be on Long Island for another top 25 matchup as Stony Brook, who has been flawless at home as of late, will welcome the JMU Dukes at 6 o'clock on SNY and FlowFootball.com.
If you're a fan of hard-nosed physical football, this is your game. Stony Brook and JMU rank 1-2 in the CAA in rushing, with both teams averaging better than 250 yards per game on the ground. The Dukes have regularly rotated 4 backs led by Solomon Van Horst and Percy O.J. Obisi behind a veteran offensive line. The success on the ground has opened things up through the air for quarterback Ben DiNucci, who's connecting on nearly 72% of his passes and has thrown for 7 touchdowns with only 1 interception. The story is similar for Stony Brook, where backs Isaiah White and Sabah Neckett rank among the CAA's top 5 in rushing with over 400 yards, and Tyson Lawton joined the mix last week with 88 yards at Rhode Island. Quarterback Tykel Fields has not been as accurate as DiNucci, but he's delivered a number of big plays down the field and is averaging a CAA best 19 yards per completion. Now, while all of those numbers might make you think Saturday's game will be a shootout, both defenses will have something to say about that. JMU ranks number 2 in the nation against the run and hasn't given up more than 84 yards on the ground to an opponent all year. Stony Brook is number 13 in FCS against the run and has held its 4 FCS opponents to under 40 yards on the ground. They both have big, aggressive defensive lines and experienced players in the secondary. The bottom line is this should be a great matchup between 2 quality teams, and the winner clears a big hurdle on the path to a CAA title.
At 2 o'clock on NBC Sports Washington Plus and FlowFootball.com, Albany will take their 2-game winning streak on the road against the Richmond Spiders.
Yeah, Albany improved to 3-0 at home following its win over William & Mary last week, but needs to see if it can find some success on the road, where it's 0-2. The Great Danes' offense has been on fire, scoring 35 or more points in 4 straight games. Quarterback Jeff Undercuffler has thrown multiple TD passes in all 5 games this season and has 11 touchdowns in his last 3 contests. Juwan Green and Jarrah Reeves rank 2nd and 3rd in the CAA in receptions and have combined for 744 yards and 10 touchdowns. Albany can also move the ball on the ground behind Carl Mofor, who is averaging just shy of 100 yards per game. Now, the Great Danes' defense has given up some yards, but they're number 1 in the CAA at forcing turnovers with 14, including 4 last week against the Tribe. And they're also among league leaders with 11 quarterback sacks. Now, Richmond's coming off a disappointing 23-16 loss at Fordham last week in a game that they led 10-0 in the second quarter. Bo English went the whole way at quarterback as Joe Mancuso dealt with an injury, and he threw for a career 298 yards and a touchdown. Charlie Fessler was his main target in the game, making 8 catches for 150 yards and a score. One area of concern, however, was the fact that Richmond was held under 100 yards on the ground for the second straight game. Now, the Spiders' defense limited Fordham to 333 total yards and ranked 2nd in the CAA against the pass for the season. However, Richmond has forced just 2 turnovers all year and has no interceptions. The last 4 meetings between these teams have been decided by a touchdown or less, and we should have another close one on Saturday.
Another team on a 2-game winning streak is New Hampshire as they continue their homestand at 3:30 Saturday as the Wildcats host Elon on NBC Sports Boston and FlowFootball.com.
Yeah, with so much focus on the conference games last week, New Hampshire's 23-6 win over defending Northeastern Conference champ Duquesne flew a little bit under the radar, but it was a really quality performance. The Wildcats' defense was dominant, holding the Dukes to just 50 yards on the ground and 233 yards overall. UNH also forced a pair of turnovers, recorded 5 sacks, and was 59 seconds away from a shutout. Now, offensively, UNH piled up over 400 yards for the second straight game, with over 200 both on the ground and through the air. Freshman quarterback Mac Brosmer looks more comfortable each week and set a career high for passing against Duquesne. The Wildcats are also rotating 3 running backs, and senior Evan Gray has had the hot hand lately with 222 yards on only 17 carries over the past 2 weeks. Now, Elon will have to rebound from that 45-10 loss to JMU last week. The Phoenix got off to a fast start as Davis Cheek hit Avery Jones with a 66-yard TD pass on the second play of the game, but little went right after that. Now, Cheek continues to have an excellent year with 9 touchdowns and only 1 interception, and Jones has caught a TD in 3 straight contests. Elon will need to get its rushing attack rolling again as the Phoenix has been held under 100 yards in its last 2 games. Now, Elon's defense has had a tough couple of weeks against the high-powered Wake Forest and JMU attacks, but it's better than the numbers would suggest. The Phoenix recorded 8 sacks over the first 3 games and will try to put some heat on Brosmer.
Also at 3:30 on FlowFootball.com and your view on Cox Communications, Villanova looks to remain unbeaten as they travel to William & Mary.
Yeah, Villanova is the only team in FCS right now with a 5-0 record, and it's coming in impressive fashion with back-to-back wins over nationally ranked CA foes Towson and Maine. The Wildcats' offense hasn't been held under 33 points in a game this year, as quarterback Daniel Smith has accounted for 20 touchdowns, including 14 through the air. Justin Covington has topped the century mark on the ground in all 5 contests and leads all of FCS with 674 yards. Freshman Jerron Hayek has become the Wildcats' go-to receiver with 12 catches for 178 yards in the past 2 weeks. Now, Villanova's defense has also been strong, holding opponents to just 89 yards per game on the ground, while ranking second in the league with 7 interceptions. William & Mary fell 39-31 at Albany a week ago, but returns to Zabel Stadium where they're 2-0 this season. Both Tribe quarterbacks made big plays last week as freshman Hollis Mathis had a 56-yard scoring run, and Kilton Anderson delivered an 83-yard TD pass, but 4 turnovers were the difference in that game. William & Mary has rushed for over 250 yards in its 2 home wins, and success on the ground could be big on Saturday to help keep the ball away from that Wildcats offense. Now, defensively, the Tribe has done a good job creating pressure, but hasn't come up with a turnover in the past 2 games after creating 10 in the first 3 weeks. That could be another stat to watch in this one.
The lone non-conference matchup will be on ESPN Plus at 12:30 as Rhode Island, who looks to overcome these heartbreaking losses as of late, will take on rival Brown for the Governor's Cup.
Yeah, it certainly has been a tough stretch for Rhode Island with 3 straight conference losses in the final seconds. But there's probably no better way to get that off their mind than facing their in-state rival for the Governor's Cup. The Rams feature one of the top passing attacks in the nation behind quarterback Vito Priori, who's thrown for over 290 yards in all 4 games and is completing 63% of his throws. Aaron Parker is the nation's second leading receiver with 35 catches for 595 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Isaiah Coulter has made 20 receptions for better than 300 yards in the past 3 games. Now, defensively, Mamadou Mbai has intercepted a pass in all 4 games this season, and linebacker Brandon Javier Castillo continues to top the conference in tackles. Browns 1-1 this season after a 42-7 setback to Harvard a week ago. The Bears are led offensively by dual-threat quarterback E.J. Perry, who's thrown for 343 yards and 3 touchdowns and has rushed for a team-high 235 yards and 2 scores. Rhode Island's won 2 of the past 3 Governor's Cups, including a dominant 48-0 victory a year ago.
As always, folks, casports.com/live scores is your source for live scoring and in-game live stats throughout the week 6 of the college football season.
And of course, you can continue to follow the league on our many social media platforms such as facebook.com/CA Football and Twitter @CA Football using the hashtag CAFB.
Our on-campus series was back on the road this past weekend at Albany. You can recap the visit by following CA Football social media outlets, and make sure to visit cafootball.com on Thursday for our Going Deep feature on the Great Danes.
Yeah, our crew had a chance to cover Albany's Pink game and hear some very inspirational stories as the Great Danes players were able to honor family and friends who have battled cancer in a very special way.
Our on-campus crew will be back at it this weekend as they head to Stony Brook. That is it from us today. Enjoy the games, everyone.